All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back for another deep dive.
Yeah, welcome back.
Today, we're going to be looking at some pretty fundamental English grammar rules.
Yeah.
You know, the kind of things that can really trip people up, even if you've been speaking English for a while.
Yeah, even native speakers.
Right.
We all make mistakes.
Yeah, and these are the mistakes that, they can really impact how clearly you can communicate.
Absolutely.
So, we dug through this really interesting session all about common grammar errors and how to fix them. So if you've ever, gotten stuck wondering if you should use its or its, or, messed up a past tense verb or something like that,
all the time.
This is going to be a good one for you.
Definitely.
So let's kick things off with one of the most, I think, fundamental concepts in English grammar. Subject-verb agreement.
Yeah, it sounds a little bit technical when you say it like that.
It does, doesn't it?
But it's actually pretty straightforward.
It is.
Once you get the hang of it.
Yeah, basically, it's all about making sure that your verb matches your subject.
Right.
Like they agree with each other.
Like they're a good pair.
Exactly.
They're a good match.
And the example that they used in the source material was, she go to school every day.
Yeah, I've heard that one.
You hear that one a lot, yeah.
And it's so easy to make that mistake.
It is, because it sounds almost right.
It does. It almost sounds natural.
But the problem is, when you have a singular subject, like she or he or it, you need to add an "es" to the verb in the present tense.
In the present tense, right.
Yeah.
Because if you're talking about the past...
It changes.
It changes, yeah.
Yeah.
So the correct way to say it would be, she goes to school every day.
Right. And that little "es" makes all the difference.
It does. It's a tiny little thing.
It does.
But it makes a huge difference in how your English sounds.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's like the finishing touch.
It's like the polish.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so moving on to another, I think, really common area of confusion. Your versus your.
Oh yeah, this one's a classic.
They sound exactly the same, but they mean very different things.
They do.
So just to clarify, your is the possessive form.
Right, like your book, your car, your ideas.
Exactly. It means something belongs to you.
It's showing ownership.
Yeah.
That something belongs to you.
And then your...
That's a contraction.
Yeah, it's like a shortened version of you are.
Exactly. So if you can replace your with you are in the sentence and it still makes sense,
then you know you're using the right word.
You got it.
Yeah, that's a good tip.
That's a great tip, actually. I learned that from the source material that we were looking at.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was really helpful.
Okay, and then we come to, I think, one of the most notorious trios in the English language.
Oh boy, yeah.
But they're there and they're...
Three little words that can cause so much trouble.
They can, and they sound exactly the same.
They do.
But they're spelled differently, and they mean completely different things.
Exactly. They're homophones, right?
Yeah.
Words that sound the same but have different meanings.
So let's break them down one by one.
Okay, good idea.
So there
is the possessive pronoun.
Right, so it's showing that something belongs to a group of people.
Exactly. So you could say, their house is beautiful.
Right, so there is always about possession.
Always about possession, yeah.
Okay, then we have there.
There usually indicates a place or a location.
Right, so you could say something like, the book is over there.
Exactly, you're pointing to a location.
Yeah, you're pointing to a location.
There can also be used as an expletive.
An explicative.
Yeah, it's a grammatical term.
Okay.
It basically means that it's there to start a sentence where the subject comes after the verb.
Okay, so like, there are many reasons to learn grammar.
Exactly, that's a perfect example.
Okay, so it doesn't always refer to a place?
Not always,
Yeah,
no.
got it.
It can just be a way of structuring the sentence.
Okay, and then finally we have there.
There is another contraction.
Right, it's short for they are.
Exactly, so if you can replace there with they are in the sentence, and it still makes sense,
Then you're good to go.
they're using it correctly.
Yeah, so it's the same trick as with your.
Exactly.
So that's there, and there.
Three little words, so much confusion.
But hopefully we've cleared that up a bit.
Hopefully.
Okay, let's move on to another area that I think can be tricky for English learners.
Okay, what's that?
Past tense verbs,
Oh yeah, past tense verbs.
especially irregular verbs.
Especially irregular verbs, those are the tricky ones.
Yeah, because they don't follow the regular pattern of adding ed to the base form of the verb.
Right, they have their own unique forms that you just have to learn.
Exactly, and the example that they used in the source material was, yesterday I go to the store.
Oh yeah, I've heard that one too.
Yeah, and you can see that the person is trying to talk about something that happened in the past.
Because they said yesterday.
Right, because they said yesterday, but the verb is in the present tense.
Right, so it doesn't match.
It doesn't match.
A time frame.
Yeah, so the correct way to say it would be, yesterday I went to the store.
Yesterday I went to the store. Exactly.
Because went is the past tense of go.
It's the irregular past tense of go.
Oh, right.
And there's really no rule to it. You just have to memorize it.
Yeah, and the source material gave us a few other examples.
Like what?
Like eat becomes ate in the past tense.
Right. Eat becomes ate.
And take becomes took.
Take becomes cook. Yeah.
So these are just things that you have to, learn and practice.
Practice.
Exactly.
And that's really the key with irregular verbs. Just keep practicing them.
Yeah, reading, listening to English, all of that helps.
It all helps to get those irregular verbs stuck in your head.
Okay, so the source material we were looking at had this little pop quiz at the end.
Oh, fun. A quiz.
Yeah, so it was a chance for, the listener to test themselves and see how well they'd understood the concepts.
Okay, I like that.
So let's go through those questions together.
Okay, let's do it.
So the first question was, she don't like coffee.
Okay. She don't like coffee.
Now, thinking back to what we talked about with subject-verb agreement, what would be the correct way to say that?
So she is a singular subject.
Right.
So we need to use the singular form of do not.
Which is?
Which is doesn't.
Doesn't, yeah.
So the correct sentence would be, she doesn't like coffee.
She doesn't like coffee.
Exactly.
Okay, and then the second question was, they're going to the movies tonight.
Okay, they're going to the movies tonight.
Now, thinking back to our discussion of there, and there.
Right.
What's the correct way to say that?
So in this case, we need to use the contraction there, which means they are.
Right.
So the correct sentence would be, they're going to the movies tonight.
They're going to the movies tonight.
Okay,
so how did you do with those quiz questions?
Yeah, how'd you do?
Did you get them right?
Did you understand the reasoning behind the corrections?
Yeah, I think that's the most important thing.
It is.
It's not just about getting the answer right.
Right, it's about understanding why it's right.
Exactly, because that's how you're going to be able to avoid making those mistakes in the future.
And that's really the whole point of this deep dive, right?
Right, yeah.
To help you communicate more clearly and confidently in English.
Absolutely, and as the source material emphasized, practice is key.
Practice is everything.
Yeah, so the more you can actively use these rules in your everyday communication, the better you're going to get at using them correctly.
And the more natural it's going to sound.
Exactly. So keep practicing, keep reading, keep listening to English.
And don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Yeah, everyone makes mistakes.
It's part of the learning process.
Exactly.
So embrace those mistakes and learn from them.
Okay, so as you go about your day today, just think about which of these grammar points might have been a bit of a blind spot for you before, and how this new awareness is going to change how you approach your English communication from now on.
And I think it's also a good idea to pay attention to how other people are using these grammar rules.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Like when you're reading or listening to something, just notice how those rules are being applied.
Yeah, because you can learn a lot from observing how other people use language.
Absolutely.
Okay, well that's about all the time we have for today.
Yeah, I think we've covered a lot of ground.
We've covered a lot of important ground.
And hopefully we've given you some useful tips
I think so.
that you can start using right away.
Yeah, so go out there and practice your English grammar.
Have fun with it.
Yeah, and don't forget to come back for our next deep dive.
We'll be tackling another fascinating topic.
All right, until then, happy learning.
Happy learning.
Bye for now.
Bye, everyone.